So again, I'm going to repeat myself real quick. So if anybody has any questions, unmute yourself and interrupt me. And I wish I could understand why my wife's laptop, and she's getting 100 text messages all of a sudden, and it's just chiming away at me, and it's driving me crazy.
I think you just need to turn your chat off.
How do I do that?
The upper left corner, just exit out.
Upper left corner?
Of the chat. Click on the chat and then exit out.
Okay, upper left corner. Sorry, everybody. Message. Quit messages.
Oh, I just exit out. Hold on. I just exited mine out.
All right. Well, I quit messages. All right. So, real quick, I'm Dave Eaton. I'm Liz's husband, and I wanted to really go over the supplements. In part, Liz is here. Say hi.
Hey, how's everyone?
Good.
Good.
So, I really wanted to get involved and do this Zoom. In part because the supplements is something that I love, and it was something prior to doTerra that I was already very fascinated about, and just partially because let's face it, everybody wants things to be slightly easier, and we're all, willing to look at a pill that may help us perform better, may help us to have better energy, may help us to lose weight. I mean, it's a bazillion-dollar industry for that exact reason. And so it's something that I was always curious about, and it was something that I liked to experiment with my own body and begin to take supplements and stop taking them and figure out what works and what doesn't work. And I wasn't one that just took it just because. And so when I learned that doTerra had supplements, this is prior to us being involved in the business, I did some research on them. I began taking them, and I felt within like 3 days, I felt an immediate difference. I like to work out, and it's more of like a higher intensity working out. And so generally when you take supplements, I feel like you can really see the difference with them in that type of environment. And so that for me was like my trigger in realizing there's something special here. And so I wanted to go over them because as much as this is an oil company, the Lifelong Vitality Pack right here is actually their #1 selling product. I don't know if everybody knew that or not, but it is their #1 selling product. And that is because it's the foundation of our health. I mean, what we put in our body, whether it's the food that we eat and whatnot, is the foundation of our energy, of how we rest, how we process things, how our hormones are managed and regulated. All of those details begin with what we put into our bodies. Generally, a lot of us don't make great choices on the things that we eat, just food-wise. And even me, who I know what's good and what's not good, I still will enjoy something I shouldn't enjoy, right? And so by using the supplements, I found an immediate difference in my energy, how I performed, how I processed things. I immediately needed less sleep. I was the type of person that needed 8 to 9 hours of sleep versus 7 to 8. And I've really noticed a difference. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over what I do, but also go over kind of everything to the best of my knowledge and based on my experience and my experiences. And then Liz will also chime in as well.
I did want to say, if anybody has any questions along the way, then feel free to ask, because we're here to answer your questions as well about the supplements, and we can answer them at the end if you want to jot them down,
or just interrupt us.
Yeah, or interrupt. This is discussion.
I have a question.
Yes.
Hi, I'm Alice.
Hi.
And my question is, what is the difference? You had mentioned that you use the doTerra supplements and you felt a major difference. Have you used other supplements before?
Yeah, so you must have got on a little bit late. So yeah, so prior to this, that was one of my hobbies
Right.
was supplements, and I liked to study them. I liked to figure out what worked and what didn't work, and you know, I'd read articles about, you know, new and upcoming things. You know, you could read reports, and it seems like every day, you know, Dr. Axe posts something new about something that will save us versus something that will kill us. And so I was, you know, I was big into just researching those types of things, and it was something that I was a big fan of. And so it wasn't like I had no experience or knowledge in that subject at all, and then all of a sudden had this magical experience. Most of my experiences entailed um, purchasing things, trying them, not noticing much of a difference, not really understanding at some cases why my body wasn't responding, or in a lot of cases, how many of you have taken a multivitamin and ended up peeing out like bright colors? It seems like that is like a very common thing. And I just assumed at the time prior that that was like, wow, look at all these toxins leaving my body. Look, you know, look what's going on. And I've learned since that that's totally inaccurate. What I was actually peeing out were the vitamins I was consuming. And so, and I'll go over the lifelong vitality pack and why I experienced a big difference, or also with something like omega-3s. That was something I always tried to take, and I struggled with it because I burped out fish a lot. And it didn't matter if it was, people told me to freeze it, people told me to do it different ways, and no matter how I did it, I did the odor free. I mean, it didn't matter how it was labeled, I burped out fish. And since using doTerra's within the lifelong vitality pack, the Z Omega, I don't burp it out. Before, I used to have to take it moments before going to bed. Otherwise, I'd be burping fish lying in bed. And now I take it every morning and every night, and I have no issues whatsoever. And so I've learned what doTERRA does additionally that prevents that from happening. But also there's the level of just the quality of the fish that's being used. And so I'll get into those. So with that, I'll start with the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And one thing I want to say about this is, as wellness advocates in this business, you know, we approach things through knowledge, through experience, but we also look at things holistically. We don't look at things, or we shouldn't look at things as, for example, you know, one oil will fix everything. I try to look at things as people's diets. I have authored a few dietary programs as well. If anybody's interested, it's just a free, you know, I could just email it to you or whatever, and that you could share it with people that are struggling with weight loss issues or different things. I try to look at things holistically and say, let's treat the you know, the underlying cause or the problem of what's going on, versus you know, just trying to treat the symptom. Okay. And so starting with this, the Lifelong Vitality Pack, if you're not on Lifelong Vitality Pack, they do have a vegan version for those of you that's important to them. Originally, they had a vegan version of just the Z Omega, but now they have a complete vegan version of the full Lifelong Vitality Pack. And there was, and I think it was because there was one thing in one of them that wasn't quite, and they fixed that. So I'm going to start off with the omega-3, the Z Omega. What's neat about this is we just don't get enough omega-3s in our diets unless you're consuming regularly fish, you know, a couple times per week. I particularly don't enjoy eating fish. And again, like I said before, omega-3s generally made me burp fish. Well, with this one, what's neat about it is it's not only fish, but there's also 9 to 10 other plant-based omega-3s in it as well that help with brain function, with ocular health, things that are very specific, not just the omega-3s, okay, not just the fish oil. There's also vitamin A, vitamin D3, and vitamin E. And so there are good, respectable amounts of those those ingredients in this. But one other neat thing that's in this is there's clove bud, there's frankincense resin, there's cumin seed, wild orange, peppermint, ginger. There are a few really good oils in it that help with cellular health as well. And so it is not just an omega-3. Anybody have any questions about this? Go ahead, unmute yourself. All right. Oh, wait.
I have a question. I don't know if someone else was, but this is really basic, but what is omega-3? I don't even, I really need like the 101 version here.
Sure. So our bodies, you know, fat is the one thing that our body absolutely needs, or else we'll die. I mean, it is the most critical thing, more so than protein and carbohydrates. Our body absolutely needs fat. And so it's the healthy fat. Generally, we get way too much 6 and 9s in our diet. And it's the omega-3s and let me preface this by saying I'm not a doctor on these things. And so if somebody has something they want to add in, or they feel like, hey, you know what, there's one other really important thing about omega-3s that everybody should know, please chime in, okay? I don't want to be sitting here on a pedestal like I know something more than I do, because that's not my personality. If I don't know, I don't know, and I'm okay with that. Teach me. But omega-3s is something that's critical for our brain function and how our brain works. It's critical for our joints and our ligaments, and how it's almost like the lube in a car, like the grease, you know, in the gears, that type of thing. Does anybody else want to add anything about the critical nature of omega-3s?
Thank you.
Alice?
Yeah, can you tell me what the percentage, the daily percentage of the combination in there? Is it 100% US daily, 150? Because I'm curious to know. I used to have a health food store, so I love vitamins. I mean,
Sure.
I'm into it. I take like 50 or 60 a day. I take so many for different things. So that's why, you know, I need to know. For me, I haven't tried the Vitality Pack. I do look forward to trying it, but I need to know exactly, compared to, let's say, the natural vitamins that are sold in a health food store, not drugstore, not supermarket, the real deal with the vitamins. What's the difference? Is there a higher dosage in it? Because also it comes down to cost per milligram and cost per microgram, you know, comparing. So like for me as a consumer, I would be looking at the bottle and saying, how much am I paying for this? And how much am I paying for other products that are also very good per milligram? So I would want to be able to change out my vitamins and take, let's say, the Vitality Pack, but I need to know like exactly what it is. I'll take, like, for instance, I'll take supplements specifically for eyes. I take specifically for bones. I take specifically for the omegas. I would love to take one vitamin that has everything, or fewer, but it all depends on the doses.
Sure.
So
Good.
That's why I was
I'll try to address that then, because certain things like omega-3s, there is like vitamin A or vitamin C, there is a daily recommended value. With omega-3s, there is no daily recommended value. All there is the, you know, how many milligrams or how many grams are in the specific bottle. And the two critical omega-3s is the EPA and the DHA.
Yes.
Those are the two critical ones that actually mean something.
Right.
So everybody keep note of that. If you're looking at omega-3s in the grocery store, those are the only two things on that. It could have a list of a bunch of different omega-3s and 6s and 9s. Majority of that is just pure garbage. It's the omega, the EPA and the DHA. And this does have a combination of 600 milligrams of those two.
Okay. For how many tablets a day?
For 4 tablets per day.
Oh, you have to take 4.
They're 4 small ones.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is a
How often?
30-day supply.
Okay. How often a day? I mean, like in the
You could do,
morning
I do 2 in the morning, 2 at night.
and okay. Okay.
Okay. And so this does have 600 milligrams now for of a combination of the two. So that is a respectable amount for larger people or for athletes. They may want to double up on that, and that's completely up to them. Again, it's one of those things that you figure out what works for your body. Okay.
Right.
So that's the omega-3s. But I want to move on to this Microplex VMZ. And the reason why I do is because something that you said, Alice, that I feel like was critical is you wanted to know what the daily recommended value is. Okay.
Yes.
Something in this industry that is a problem is in America more so. Well, my experience, because that's where I am, is if a little is good, a lot is better. And the fact of the matter is that's not really the case with most vitamins. Now, I will start by saying, and it's impossible for you to see this, obviously, but you can look on the website and get the actual supplement facts. But every one of these has listed the natural source of where this vitamin comes from. So it's not a synthetic. So they are 100% natural, and they're very transparent about what's on them. Additionally, you're not going to find more than a couple 100% of your daily recommended value. And in most cases, that's critical because your kidneys and your liver, those are the filter mechanisms in your body. And when I was saying earlier how I was peeing out bright colors, well, what I was doing is I was taxing my kidney, my liver, trying to filter what's there. And then my body was just getting rid of it. So you're peeing out a very expensive urine, essentially by taking 3,000%. You go to buy Costco vitamin C and it's going to have like 6,000% or some ridiculous number of your daily recommended value. So again, what's neat about this is it does have all natural and it does not exceed more than a couple 100% of the daily recommended value. Additionally, what doTerra has done with the lifelong vitality packs is dependent upon the region in the world that you live. The formulation is slightly different. For example, like in the Asian market, their diet is very different than what it may be in parts of the United States. And so they alter it based on the necessity of that region or the common diet within that region to make sure that there is a good balance. So the other neat thing about these vitamins is that they're chelated. And I'm not sure how many people are familiar with that term, but the vitamin and mineral is what the V and the M stands for. Well, what happens is your body will only absorb a certain amount of vitamins if a vitamin is taken by itself and a certain amount of mineral when taken by itself. But when they're taken together, the amount that your body absorbs increases because of them being taken together. And so doTerra is familiar with this. And so the certain vitamins that they know will absorb higher paired with certain minerals, those are combined. And so we're getting the most bang for our buck as far as what we're absorbing. Okay. Additionally, this does have magnesium, zinc, copper, iron. I mean, it just has so many different things, and feel free to look on the website. I'm not going to sit and list off every single thing, but it also does have an active enzyme blend in it as well, which helps it to, and the reason why that's important is because those enzymes are going to help to break it down so that your body is absorbing it better. All of this is about getting into our cells, not just about getting into our stomachs. And so that's why they do this. So that's the Microplex VMZ. Does anybody have any questions about this specifically? If you do, unmute yourself and just speak. If not, I'll just move on.
I do. Just for the customers who come to me, because I'm really not, I don't think I consider myself a very good resource on supplements whatsoever because I'm still learning. But if someone just were to ask me, what is this basic vitamin for? What does it do? Like you had you had kind of mentioned that the omega-3, what it's really good for is the brain function, the joints. So what would this be targeting for people?
And so just for the same reason, again, this is a supplement. It's not a replacement. And that's a key thing. We still want to have, our vegetables, we want to still be eating real food. But what happens is in today's world, a basic plant is going to have about a fifth of the vitamins that it had in it about 50 years ago. And so our body is just not getting the antioxidants. It's not getting the nutrients that our cells need in order to essentially fight the aging process. Our cell degeneration is what the aging process is. Our cells, they die and replace themselves every 120 days. And it's like a photocopy of a photocopy of a photocopy. And that's what the aging process is. And by feeding our cells with the nutrients that it needs, what it's doing is it's replacing it with a higher quality cell. And in doing that, what you're doing is you're getting better daily energy. You're getting better daily sleep. Even that brain fog that happens throughout the day, where some of the simplest things that you know the answer to, you can't seem to remember that word. All of those things. Additionally, though, major disease like cancer and autoimmune disease, a lot of those things begin with inflammation of the cells. And so that's additionally what we're doing as an antioxidant. We're keeping our cells, the inflammation, we're decreasing the toxic load. And that's why I said earlier that we're treating health from a holistic standpoint, not a, if you're overweight, take this pill. It's, if you're overweight, let's look at exercise. Let's look at hydration. Let's look at how you're sleeping. Let's look at all of these factors. How much vegetables are you eating? Let's look at all of these factors and treat entirely what's going on. And so, and part of that, again, it just comes down to being very difficult to get all the vitamins and minerals and nutrients that we need in our bodies. And some people have done more research. I just met Chanel. She's with us. I met you, Chanel, yesterday. Thanks for joining us. And Chanel, just in talking to her, she has a lot of knowledge about this type of stuff. Is there anything you wanted to add about that, Chanel? I know you've been doing a lot of stuff, and you're in the medical field.
Not too much to add. I just prefer to work with nature first over medicine. Medicine has a more taxing effect on your body than actual things that come from nature. I just suggest that you do a lot of research. And whenever I do research a natural supplement or even an herb, I always cross-reference it to see what medical research reports have actually been released. They don't release them to us, but they are out there. And you will find that most of them can actually attest to the value in the natural remedies of products. I mean, the remedies and the treatments inside of natural products, but they'll never market it that way. They want to make it cheaper, faster, but more expensive for us, and they want to make it synthetic, and then it loses all of its value. So at that point, I have a condition now that I'm treating with nature. I refuse to go medical with it because I know what it could do to me, and it's working. So there's no way you can pull me to the other side of this point.
Cool. Thanks, Chanel. I appreciate it. I'm going to mute you. Okay. You just did. Okay, cool. All right. So next thing I want to transition into this is one of my favorites. It's called the Alpha CRS Plus. CRS stands for Cellular Recovery System. So I'm going to go over this in as much detail as possible. There's two parts of this supplement. And the reason why I'm going to I specify that is because there's additionally two other vitamins that I'll go over later, that basically they've taken this bottle and they say some people need additional, and so we've separated it so we can double up on certain things, and I'll talk about what it is. So the two parts of this is the Cellular Longevity Blend, and some of you are going to be really familiar with some of these ingredients. There's Boswellia, serrata, gum resin extract, which is frankincense. Okay. There's milk thistle. There's, forgive me for my enunciation of some of these things. There's polygonum something root extract. There's green tea leaf extract, pomegranate fruit extract, pineapple stem extract, turmeric root extract, grape seed, sesame seed extract, and pine bark extract. And what it does is they also list the actual chemical constituent that they're pulling and how many milligrams of each of those exist within this blend. And so again, going back to the cellular health, that's what we're doing here with those. And in part because like frankincense is one of those very few oils or products that we know of that actually helps the cell rejuvenation process, in the sense that it will help to reproduce a healthier cell than the previous cell. And it helps tremendously with like inflammation and that type of conditions. And so the second part of this blend is the cellular energy blend. And the reason why they specifically call it cellular energy blend is because this is not a stimulant. This is not, this isn't coffee or caffeine. There's alpha lipic acid. There's acetyl carnitine. These are amino acids. There's CoQ10. And there's quercetin, and there's ginkgo biloba leaf extract, which, again, I apologize. I do research, and when I'm reading, I don't have some professional telling me the proper way of saying these things. I just know the things that I've read about those things individually, and anybody that has formal knowledge on these things, when they're reading what's on these bottles, they're in shock that they're all together and that somebody knew to put these all together and understanding how they all work. And so I have found with this product right here, again, it's one of my favorite. The main thing that I notice with this one is that 2 o'clock, anybody get that 2 o'clock crash where they feel like they're ready for a Starbucks? Most people. For me, this is what's pretty much eliminated the necessity of that Starbucks, but my heart can't get rid of the desire for that Starbucks. That's a deeper problem that I'll have to figure out on my own sometime. But I have found with this, I stopped taking it for a while and I noticed a difference. That's how I do things. Sometimes I try to see if I believe myself, and I stopped doing things for a while, and then I start doing them and I notice a difference. And so what's neat is these 3 combined are the Lifelong Vitality Pack. And in, I don't know what it is in Australia and other parts, but in US dollars, it's like $76 or $79. I know from people that work at health food stores that have done research, when I tell them the cost and they compare what's in this, the research has been done that there's over $200 in value if you were to buy these things individually.
Right. That's, yes.
And Alice, you seem to be able to, like you just said, you don't take them, but I think you would agree with that. With that assessment of value.
Absolutely. In fact, that's one of the things that I'm very interested in testing the Vitality Pack and looking at them compared to what I'm taking, because again, I found the right combination for myself. I take the ginkgo separately, I take multi-minerals separately, I take antioxidants separately, I take D3 separately, I take a multivitamin separately. So I supplement with C and E and a whole bunch of things, and it works. I mean, I feel great. I mean, I'm 61 and I'm very happy. I'm
Sure.
I exercise, I work out, I'm in a good place, but I'm always looking for something better, you know. And since I am a wellness advocate, I would like to be able to promote what I believe in and what I've tried. So this is definitely something that interests me and that I'm really looking forward to adding it on my LRP this month.
Yeah. No, it's one of those things. Like I told you before, a gentleman that I worked with who worked at a health food store, after giving him this, I wanted him to test it. I gave him a box to try.
Uh-huh.
And he came up to me, I think 2 days later, and was like, I can't believe this. I feel it, because he was a little bit like me, but like even more so. Like,
Really?
his jam was vitamins. I mean, that
Right.
was like,
Right.
you know, some guys are muscle cars, some guys are whatever.
Right.
This
Right.
dude was vitamins. And
Right.
he came up to me, like, I'm not kidding. It was like 2 days later, and was like, I already feel the difference. I can't believe that. Like,
That's great.
and I'm
That's
like you, I can't sit here and tell people to buy something or that it works unless I've experienced it.
Right.
I am
Right.
very transparent. I'll just say, I don't have a clue. Or I didn't feel anything. And I'm not ashamed of that, because I'm a terrible liar. And I have an awful memory. So I wouldn't be able to tell you a lie I told you. And so it's just not a good combination for me. So I'm going to go ahead and now transition into, I don't have the bottle of the Mito 2 Max, but and the reason being is because my wife and I use these tackle boxes that we put all our vitamins in. And so
Yes.
when we open ours up, we dump them in there, and there's a label. And so I just don't have all the bottles. So what I want to do is I want to, remember how I said the CRS Plus, there's 2 parts to it. And so what I'll get into now is this. So for either people that are more athletic, or for people that have health conditions, or maybe just older, they may need more of a boost from this. And so, like I said before, there's 2 parts. There's the cellular longevity and then the cellular energy. So what doTerra did is they said, we're going to come out with a separate bottle, a separate supplement called the Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex. And what this is it focuses on the cellular vitality side, and additionally focuses on the cellular inflammation. Okay. And so the amount of frankincense in this is greater than the frankincense that is in this one. There's additional things in this one, like resveratrol. There's just additional things. There's ginger. There's a few things I can't even pronounce, that some people have found that if they're regular like consumers of something like ibuprofen or something like that, or some kind of an injury, they'll do a protocol with the Deep Blue Polyphenol Complex, and they've found significant results in decreasing the inflammation or pain in the area by using this. Now, not to confuse anybody, this Deep Blue has nothing to do with the minty Deep Blue oil. There is no Deep Blue oil in this bottle. Okay, so it's a polyphenol. It's a complete natural plant-based anti-inflammation, and that's why they labeled it with the Deep Blue branding. But it has no like wintergreen oil in it at all, because that's not good for your stomach. Does that make sense? Is anybody surprised by that, or have been curious about that, and that kind of answered that question? Good.
Yes, super surprised. I have a quick question on Deep Blue.
Okay.
I take frankincense every day, and on the days that I don't take it, I actually notice a difference. Like, I'm so much clearer, like that fog goes away. I feel more grounded when I take frankincense. Is there an issue? But I also want to take Deep Blue because I need anti-inflammation stuff for my knees.
Mm-hmm.
Can you take too much frankincense in a day?
In a sense
No.
like this, no, because this is actually the frankincense resin. It's
Okay.
It's not the oil. So your body's going to process it differently. That's one of those oils that realistically, unless somebody wants to interrupt me, I would say whatever protocol you're doing with the frankincense, I would continue to do. And I would begin taking this, but I'm also not the type to tell you to take things blindly and just keep spending your money. I would want you to take it for a while, see how you feel, stop taking it, see how you feel. I believe that's what we should be doing. Okay.
And that was my second question. Like when you test stuff and take it and then don't take it to see like how you're acting, how long do you have to give this stuff before you, like with the frankincense, I feel like it's immediate, but with these supplements, like how long do you think it takes before your body will start to notice?
Good question. Some things like cellular vitality or cellular energy, you could notice within a matter of days. Certain things though, okay, leaning more, because there was two sides of it. I misspoke. The cellular energy you can notice within days. Cellular vitality, because our cells, like I said earlier, take 120 days to replace themselves. Like somebody treating a thyroid issue with an oil blend on their thyroid, they may not notice a difference in using something like that for about 120 days, a few months. For that same reason, it's letting those cells die and replace themselves with higher functioning cells. And so you may have an instance in some cases where I would say take it for 3 to 4 months. And realistically, after 3 to 4 months, if you don't feel a difference, now I will say I've had people tell me they buy the lifelong vitality pack and 30 days later, I'm like, hey, how was it? You love it? You want to buy more? And they're like, I didn't really notice the difference. I'm like, oh, but you're out, right? And they're like, well, no, I still have about 2/3 of the bottle. If you're not taking it every single day, you're not going to have the benefits of it. You know what I mean? And so but for me, like, I don't go with, I'll get into bed and remember, I forgot to take my vitamins. I'll get up out of bed to go take them. That's how I am. I don't know if I've always been that adamant. Liz is good about setting alarms and reminders in her phone to take her vitamins. I don't think she needs to do that anymore, but that was the case. So as far as that goes, I would say you would be cheating yourself if you didn't take them for at least 90 days to give yourself. But most things, I would say, just the supplements, if you're not noticing a difference within 30 to 60 days. doTerra does a 30-day money-back guarantee on this. So they're confident that after 30 days, if you've taken you did it every single day and you don't notice a difference, they say, send us back the empty bottles and we'll send you your money back. So that's one of the lowest risk things that you could even, consider taking or trying. Right. Yeah. Alice. Sorry. Wait 1 second here. So go ahead.
So the protocol would be to take the vitality every day and also the deep blue.
So what, personally, that's what I do.
Okay.
Now doTerra additionally, so there's the lifelong vitality pack, which is the 3,
right.
But they also have the daily nutrient pack, which is just the VMZ and the Z Omega. And then you can just add this as an add-on. You don't need, so they've given us 2 options. You can buy the daily nutrient pack or the lifelong vitality pack. And what's cool is this Deep Blue Complex by itself is like a $60 bottle. But when you buy it in conjunction with the daily nutrient pack or the lifelong vitality pack, it's only $20.
Oh.
When you add it on.
So wait a minute. So we're talking then it's 3 bottles.
So now you back exactly. Or it's for either. If you buy the lifelong vitality, which is the 3, or the daily nutrient, which is just the 2, you can add on up to 3 other supplements for only $20 per bottle.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's major.
That is huge.
That's very huge.
So that's something to keep in mind. So when you're adding things up, if you're looking just at the retail and wholesale cost of the things individually, these 3 things individually by themselves are super expensive. But when you buy them as the pack, like this CRS Plus by itself, I think is like $68 or something.
Right.
You basically are getting these things for additional $10 more. It doesn't make sense to buy any one of these things separately.
Okay, that's huge.
It is.
Because people want to be able to take vitamins, but also be economic with it.
Yeah.
And
I'm super sensitive of that. I don't judge anybody, based on my pocketbook or whatever.
Right.
That's kind of the number one rule in sales: never judge anybody based on your own pocketbook.
Right.
But I also am like a friend trying to help somebody get things for the best value, and just trying to say, let's look at this. And let's make the best choice, because I know in my business, if I focus on helping you and serving you, and in the long run, we both win. But if I focus more on just a higher sale, how can I get the most points? How can I get the most dollars or whatever? In the long run, there's no relationship, and then there's no continual residual income. So what was the point of that? It's a lose-lose. So the next one I want to talk about is the Mito 2 Max, which I don't have the bottle sitting in front of me. But like I said, there's two parts of the Alpha CRS Plus. The Mito 2 Max is an energy and stamina complex. And again, that's just a higher amounts of the things listed there's additional acetate L-carnitine, alpha lipic acid, CoQ10, quercetin. There's just a higher percentage, and then additional things that do support with cellular energy. And because this is not a stimulant, it's not going to cause you to. Has anybody ever taken something and then they can't go to bed or anything like that? It's not one of those types of things where it's going to keep you awake.
Can I say something about Mito 2 Max? Something that I've heard and read and actually experienced myself is adrenal fatigue is a serious issue in the world, because we're always so busy and we're trying to multitask. And Mito 2 Max can actually help with adrenal fatigue if you up the dosage of it. So as much as I take 4 a day myself for adrenal fatigue, because I've had issues with it, and it can be very damaging on your body. But it's really helped rebuild my adrenals so that I'm not always in that fight or flight mode, that I have that reserve. And so I've just noticed a big difference taking that many to help get the energy back. And then I'll lower it back down, when I'm feeling like I'm at back to my optimal.
And we have 4 little kids, so it doesn't take much for us to reach complete breakdown and fatigue certain days, especially when you have a 4-year-old little girl who is totally crazy. So I mean that in a loving dad kind of way. But okay, so let's move on. Next thing I want to get to is the Terrazymes. This is one of my go-to. I don't go without. Again, going back to I think I mentioned it earlier. There are active enzymes and the vitamins. So traditionally, we're supposed to eat raw vegetables as an appetizer before we eat our meals. Nobody does that anymore. And if they do, it's like iceberg lettuce covered in ranch, which has 0 nutritional value. And so the reason why traditionally we do that is because of the natural plant-based enzymes that our body is about ready to need to break down the cooked food that we're about ready to eat. When you cook vegetables over 130 degrees, it cooks out all the natural enzymes. And so your body is now having to dump those enzymes to help break it down. The problem is you're not going to fully break down what you consumed. And so the problem with that is twofold. One, you're not going to absorb all the nutrients from the food that you just ate. And additionally, it can cause you to store additional fat in your body because of it. Some people look at enzymes as a way for you to maybe consume something so that you can just pass it faster, get it through your body, and maybe it'll trick your body into not getting fat or something. But really what we're trying to do is take full benefit of the food we're eating. And so what's cool about this is it does have a great blend of natural plant-based enzymes. And I don't have, they say what's here, but I have a printout that talks about, there's one that's specific for breaking down sugars, one that's specific, they've seen it's specific for breaking down fats, one that's specific for protein. And so for me, what I found is when we go out to dinner, we eat dinner, without even conversation, my wife is handing me 2 enzymes and she's taking 2 enzymes. It's just something that we do regularly. Also, a lot of people, if they're finding themselves very bloated, if you take a couple of these prior to going to bed, it really does help break down everything as your body's rebuilding, and you'll have some really good results from it. I think Liz wants to say something about this.
Yeah, I do want to say something, because enzymes have kind of saved me, honestly, because of the stomach issues I have. But I've also talked to and helped a lot of people with the enzymes alone, with things like eczema, rosacea, acne, things like that on your skin. Because a lot of times what happens is the enzymes help eat away at that extra yeast in our bodies, and it helps get it out of our body instead of it coming out through our skin. The enzymes are helping to absorb that and get rid of it instead of it presenting itself in other ways on your body, or having that extra yeast in your body it can eat. So even taking them on an empty stomach at night, a couple at night before you go to bed, is very helpful for skin related issues or just extra yeast in your body.
Cool. Anybody have any questions about the Terrazymes? No? Okay, cool. All right, I want to move into, because I know I don't know how long we're
supposed to only stay on for about an hour.
This was supposed to, okay. So I'll get into a couple of things I'll get into is endocrine, because it is a little bit confusing. There's two different endocrines. There's the detoxification complex, and then there's the other one. I forget what it's called.
It's called the blend.
Just the endocrine blend. Endocrine is just a play on words for the endocrine system. The endocrine system is like our the different filter mechanisms in our body, but not only that, it's also the hormone producing and regulating systems within our body. Like for women, there's the ovaries; for men, there's the testicles. But then there's also like the thyroid. There's the kidneys, the liver. All of those are pieces of the endocrine system. Okay, so the two different parts, the two different endocrine that I'll talk about. This first one, the detoxification complex, I like to explain it as, so this is an actual, oh, it's not open, but this is an actual capsule.
We're out of it there, so you can open that bottle.
This is an actual capsule. And I like to look at this one as more of like, it goes in and it helps to scrub out and to detoxify and to get rid of, it's kind of like replacing the air filter. So it is like an herbal, you can see it. It's like an herbal capsule. I'm sure a lot of you have been to the health food store and they'll see like a kidney cleanse or something like that. And so what that's essentially, this is a very complex version of a way of cleaning out the endocrine system. The thing about this is one of the most powerful things that I've read about the endocrine system. If you think about it, and being that I'm the only guy on here, I probably shouldn't say this, but I know, for example, like my wife, 2 days prior to her menstrual cycle is not quite human. She's a little meaner.
This is super rude.
I know. And I'm going out on a limb. I have like witnesses in case I get murdered. Generally, I get a text message and she says, "Oh, I started my period. I'm sorry for the last 2 days." So my point in saying this, guys, is women do recognize the mood difference in where our hormones are at and how they fluctuate and how that has an outcome on our personalities. Okay, men, we're a little bit more caveman-like. We don't totally get that. So when our hormones, like our thyroid and our adrenal glands and all of those things are sluggish and not working properly, a lot of things happen. I mean, the serotonin our body produces, there's so much that happens, whether it's somebody who's gaining weight or somebody who has anger management issues or depression and those types of things. A lot of times it could be something like your endocrine system is out of whack and you're not producing and your hormones are not producing and regulating the way they're supposed to. Okay. And so the endocrine system is very critical. And so for me, what I like to do is a process of doing like a detox every, like a 4 or 5 day detox of the endocrine system using the detoxification complex. Now the other one, the detoxification blend, is a blend of oils that are specific to supporting the function of your endocrine system and all of the glands, like your adrenals, your thyroid, your kidney, and how it functions. So one is meant for cleaning and the other is meant for supporting. Was anybody confused about that and now feel a little bit more clear about what the difference of those two supplements are? Okay. Does anybody have any question about those? Okay.
I just have a quick question. So with the oils, if you were to use both, would you take maybe just a drop of the oil in like a shake or something like that to help with the supporting versus taking the supplement during a detox?
Sure. So I do just the little gel cap, and the gel cap, how many,
3.
there's 3 drops in a gel cap. So I wouldn't put it like in a shake or something. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what it tastes like.
I know what it tastes like. It doesn't taste that great, but it doesn't taste terrible.
So
I would shoot it back like in a shot glass.
I'd put it in a shot glass with a little bit of water and just
orange juice or something and drink it that way. Like you could do that in the morning, a drop or 2 in a shot glass with like orange juice or something and drink it that way. And that would be super good for your system.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you for clarifying that.
Uh-huh. All right, so next I want to talk about is the the GX Assist. I don't have that bottle on me.
No,
so the GX Assist, it's a really neat, it's this black, hard capsule, and the reason being is because it needs to make it through your stomach. Your stomach acid is very aggressive.
There's oregano in this.
There's oregano in that. There's melaleuca. There's lemon. There's a few other oils in it that are that will specifically help to cleanse the intestines and the colon and help to get rid of that buildup of just stuff that our body creates over time. And that's why that pill is encapsulated that way, is to be sure it actually gets to where it's needed. By the time that breaks down and dissolves, it has reached that part of your body. Okay. Again, going back to how our body regulates our hormones, our digestive tract is a critical part. I believe it was like 80% of the serotonin our body produces is through our digestive tract. And so it's a critical facet to who we are and how we act and it's just so much that goes all involved in that. And so the GX Assist, again, like the Zendocrine complex, is something I like to cycle, and I'll just do like a self-check every once in a while and be like, you know what, I'm feeling like I just need to do a cleanse. Now, the cool thing about this cleanse though is you're not going to be like code red, I need to stay by the bathroom for the next 3 days. It's nothing like that at all. You may just find that your stools are a little softer, and you may have an extra one per day. That doesn't sound bad to me.
The water intake.
Yeah, and you also want to make sure you're hydrating. Okay, next, does anybody have a question about the GX Assist? Okay, so it is just oils. It's just the way it's encapsulated to make sure it gets to where it's needed. Cool? The next one is the PB Assist. Doesn't this look like something from like the Matrix or Star Trek? There's like a pill in a pill floating in there. Again, for the same reason of why the GX Assist is encapsulated the way it is. If you're just eating yogurt thinking you're getting the probiotics that your body needs, I hate to tell you, a majority of those are being killed by your stomach acid. And so in the world that we live in today, with the overuse of antibiotics, even antibacterial soap, antibacterial everything, the PB Assist is great because the way it's encapsulated is to make sure, again, it makes it to your intestines, okay, your colon.
It also doesn't have
and it helps to rebuild that flora that your body needs.
It also doesn't have to be refrigerated like a lot of probiotics have to be, because the way it's capsulated makes it so that it doesn't lose its preservatives.
Yeah, it doesn't have
any preservatives in it.
Yeah, it's the oil blend that it's floating in that preserves it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the same with the fish oil, the omega-3. It doesn't need to be refrigerated as well, because they found that peppermint is a great natural preservative. And so there's a tad bit of peppermint oil that preserves this. Okay, so that's the PB Assist. What I like to do is, if you're doing like the cleanse and restore, it's like 10 days of the GX Assist, 3 times per day for 10 days, followed up by 10 days of one of these 3 times per day. So one is cleansing and the other is restoring. Make sense? Again, that's one of those things that I'll do like a miniature cleanse and a miniature one. I'll do 3 days of the GX Assist and then 3 days of this. I'll just, do a self-evaluation about how my body's feeling. All right, next I'll talk about okay, there's not a whole lot left here. There's the doTerra Women, which is the bone nutrient and the phytoestrogen. Anybody have any questions about those or want to get into those? Or should we talk about that on another one? I don't want to be like overwhelming, but I also don't want this to go, I don't want to hold everybody too long. Is anybody opposed to holding off on going over these, and maybe Liz can do something that's specific to women's health, possibly?
That's fine. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're okay with holding off?
Yeah.
Thumbs up if we hold off.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Okay, last thing I'll just talk about then really quick is there is the Slim and Sassy gel cap, which is nasty. The oil by itself, it's awful. I don't like it. But they put it in a gel cap for wusses like me. And that is a blend of the oils that has the grapefruit oil and additional oils that are specific. I mean, you read you're still on with us, Chanel. You smelt that yesterday, and we looked at the list of ingredients, and it was like nothing that it tasted or smelled like, but it really does help with a couple of things. Appetite control. It helps with shrinking fat cells, and it also helps with increasing metabolism. Go ahead, Alice.
I tested it, and it's definitely, it helps with the appetite, and also it increases metabolism. So it's a winner.
I just can't stand the name. As a man,
I know, it's silly. It's silly, but it works. So it's good. It's a good product. I recommend it.
Yeah, and it's just oils. There's no jittery. There's not like a weight loss
That's
pill.
right.
Really, they're just doping you up on crack so that you're shaking the fat off of your body.
Yeah,
because
you can take it at night even.
Yeah.
You can take it at night and go to sleep after.
And that's generally what I do. If I'm feeling like I had kind of a fat, lazy day, I'll take a couple of those before going to bed and a couple of the Terrazymes. All right, so I'm just looking over. There are a few of the blends, like the Tri-Ease and the On Guard X.
I think what we're going to do, because this has already been an hour, is we'll do another supplement one and go over all of those
the gel
additional
caps.
Ones, the gel caps and the women's blends in another. Should we talk about DDR Prime for just a second? I feel like we should before we go.
Okay, remember how I said earlier that I don't lie and I have a bad memory? I'm not good about the DDR Prime, so I can't.
So DDR Prime is one of those that is oils. It's a bunch of oils together, and I can't tell you exactly what's in it because we don't have the bottle. But yeah, there's a lot of oils that are.
Who's Kristen?
Christina. Hey, Christina.
Hi. Sorry, I'm just in a place where I can't be visible, but I'm here.
That's okay.
Do you want to add anything, Christina?
Do you know anything specific about it?
I know that it stands for damaged DNA repair. So it's really, really good for cellular repair. And it's been something that I take on a regular basis. I try to do my lifelong vitality every day, but I will not skip DDR Prime. I actually think it's pricey, but I buy it every month. I love that supplement. I feel like it helps my cellular health and energy, and I feel like I feel it. My cells feel really good.
Yeah, DDR Prime is actually one of doTerra's very top-selling products for this exact reason, for exactly what Christina just said. It's very good for your cells. So if you have inflammation, again, it helps with that because there's a lot of frankincense in it. It also helps with just rejuvenating your cells that are damaged. So if you have an autoimmune disease, a scare with cancer, or you have cancer, or you have a history of cancer, that's me. We have a history of cancer, and I've actually had a cancer scare in my life. And so I take doTerra Prime every single day because of that myself. And I don't skip on it. I take it twice a day with my supplements just to help my cells keep them healthy.
Yeah, and it's really good with the Deep Blue for pain and inflammation. That's a good combination, the two of them together. Like instead of like an Advil or something.
Oh, good to know. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. And I apologize. I don't have much experience with that one, and I'm not going to sit here and just make stuff up.
Yeah, that's good.
So, I don't know if David covered this in the beginning because I was in and out helping our kids, but I just wanted to make sure that you guys know, because all of you guys do doTerra as a business, at least on some level, the vitamins, the supplements are a huge topic, a huge thing that we can cover for days if we wanted to. You know, it's a whole other animal than the oils, and we want to make sure that you guys are familiar with them, that you use them, that you love them. If you don't love them, let us know so that we can help you figure out what would work for you, because it really does help to explain them to other people and get other people excited about using them. I know that we've been using them for over 2 years, you know, and our lifestyle has changed immensely because of the oils, and because of the supplements alone. You know, we use all of the oils obviously, but just the supplements alone have literally changed our life.
Does anybody else have a positive experience in taking the supplements that they just want to second what we just said? Or is everybody on this because they just want to learn more about them?
I'll second it.
Yeah. I want to learn more about it. That's why I'm here, because
Where are you at, Alice?
What?
Where are you? Where are you located?
I'm in New Jersey, USA, New Jersey.
Awesome.
I could have guessed that might have been where the area you were from. I just wanted to make sure.
Yes.
My health food store was in New York, though. I had it for about 7-8 years.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was fun.
Does anybody
Can
else?
I just add something?
Yes.
Yep.
I just want to say that I've been taking the Lifelong Vitality Pack for probably 4 months now, and I've noticed that gradually over the time, the improvements are improving. I didn't have any sort of sudden improvement that I noticed, but over time, everything, skin, hair, nails, digestion, absolutely everything's improving. And I'm definitely not going to stop, because I don't know how long I'm going to keep improving.
That's so great. That's so great to hear.
Liz, I'm curious, when you say like the supplements have like improved your life or whatever you said like a big general statement. Like, could you be more specific? I'm just curious.
Totally. Yeah, I would say the biggest issue for me is I have struggled with stomach irritation pretty much my entire life. So much that I went to the Mayo Clinic when we were first married, because I was in a fetal position on the floor most of the time from having so much stomach upset.
And she was diagnosed with stomach migraines.
They diagnosed me with stomach migraines, and I took a beta blocker for 4 years, and we waited to have children because I couldn't get pregnant on this beta blocker. And so it was too dangerous. And so I was too scared to go off of it, because my migraines did get better. My stomach was feeling better, but it was totally synthetic, and I knew it wasn't good for my body. So when we decided, okay, I'm just going to risk it and go off of it so we can have kids, I knew I didn't ever want to go back on anything, like that again. And so I knew I needed to find a different solution. And my stomach upset came back after I had kids. So I had my kids super close. We had 4 kids in 5 years. And then after I was done having kids, I was having all the same problems, but like even more severe, I would say. I was actually having head migraines pretty much every day. And so as soon as I started what happened for me personally was I went on a very regimented supplement after getting blood work done from a local health food store where I was spending near $300 a month on supplements. And we discovered doTerra was using supplements. So I'd already been using the oils, but I didn't know that they had supplements.
We weren't doing the business.
We weren't doing the business. We were just using, we were consumers of the oils and loved them. We found out doTerra had supplements, and I was like, I might as well try them. I'm spending all this money on the doTerra one, on other ones. As soon as I switched, because I was kind of at that heightened sensitivity, I noticed a huge difference. So I went from like feeling maybe at a 6 out of 10 to feeling like a 10 out of 10. Like my pain, my stomach issues, my headaches, I would say I get a migraine maybe once every 30 to 60 days, if that. And usually it's hormone related, my general just health has completely changed, which means I'm able to be a better mom. I'm able to be a better wife. I'm able to get the things done that we need to. I wasn't a functioning human being, really, honestly.
She had to take lots of naps.
Yeah, naps. I was taking Motrin and Excedrin, probably 6 Motrin a day for my headaches, and a few Excedrin a day prior to doing all of the supplements that I'm taking now. So I would trade that any day. All natural, better lifestyle, any day of the week.
Great. Well, thank you for sharing your personal story. It's really helpful because I don't have the experience yet, so it helps to hear other people's.
Yeah, and mine might be a little more extreme than some, I went from pretty, extreme headache and upset stomach issues, but, even subtle things like working out and the recovery of it, we work out a lot. We own a gym. The recovery from inflammation and just being sore is a huge improvement when I'm taking my supplements than when I wasn't.
And we know good friends of ours that have suffered with depression and other things, and they've given us amazing feedback that they would never go off of the vitamins now. And again, it goes back to the endocrine system and how the body manages, creates, regulates, and excretes those hormones, that they would never go off of the Lifelong Vitality Pack because of, I know people that have suffered with like ADD, ADHD, and they were on like Ritalin and other things, that taking Lifelong Vitality Pack has changed them. Like they're not on it at all. They're not on any of that stuff. They're so much more of a focused person. And so if anybody even has youngsters that have been diagnosed or whatever, it's maybe overdiagnosed, I'm sure. But like our son, we have him take one of each per day.
He's 9.
And he's 9 years old. And it's been a big benefit for him.
And he's very active, so he needs it for the recovery. But something I will say also is, we're generalizing that this is going to help for everybody. But I have to say, these vitamins kind of work with whatever your body needs. So if you need the sleep, if you need the help with ADHD or cellular health for autoimmune disease, the vitamins kind of know what your body needs. I know that sounds a little kooky, but it's really true.
It's going to fill the void that's you know what I mean?
That your body is lacking.
And a lot of that just starts with your cellular inflammation, cellular health, and the endocrine system, and how the body is managing, producing, regulating your hormones. It's a critical part of who we are. So again, we're not doctors and experts on this, but I was talking to a doctor who is, he's now part of the medical advisory board for doTerra. And he's a graduate. I'm sorry, I have a bad shadow. There we go. He's a graduate from Harvard and MIT. And, I was talking to him when we were in Cancun, and he was saying, well, you know why it's so important, right? The vitamins, the supplements. And after he just told me his credentials, I'm thinking to myself, well, I'm not going to sit here and tell you why. How about you just tell me? I already know they're good. Why don't you tell me? And he just, his perspective and mindset, and this was prior to him being employed by doTerra, was, in his experience was, depression, anger management, weight gaining, all of those things it's so much more than the issue that's on the surface, and like weight gaining, or for example, because somebody who's gaining weight, there could be a hormone imbalance that's causing a level of depression, that they get this sense of happiness or satisfaction. That weight gain may be more of an issue of depression, and they get that sense of happiness momentarily through eating something, and that's trying to offset their depression. Whereas if you can really focus on the underlying issue, which is the health of the cells and the endocrine system and how it functions, then as a byproduct of that, that person's not going to need that fake satisfaction through food in order to feel happy. And then they're not going to be now gaining the weight, and then which is compounding the problem, right? Because now they feel like they're not happy because of their overweight. And similarly with somebody with anger management issue, there is a level of satisfaction in that adrenaline rush of somebody that has anger management issues, where it's something that they it's almost like an adrenaline rush that they crave, and it's something that, you know, they don't even realize. And so when you're focusing at the root cause, is really what I feel like it's doing is getting your body that homeostasis to where it's functioning the way it should. And then now you're using the oils. Now your immune system is increased. Now the way your body functions is better. You're sleeping better. I feel like by doing that, your oils, you're still using them, but it's almost like you're using less of them because you're addressing a majority of the issues. You have less symptoms that need to be treated with the oils, right? If you have bad sleeping issues, well, lavender could help, but lavender may not help at all if you're a complete toxic mess in what you're eating, you know what I mean, and what you're doing to your body. And so, again, I really try to treat things on a holistic level and not just this oil fixes that. Let's look at everything. And that's kind of how we should try, I feel like. And that's why I feel like doTerra is such a beautiful thing, because the toxic load through the hand soaps, the laundry detergents, the everything that are, the shampoo and conditioner, I learned that we absorb a majority of the toxins we're going to absorb throughout the day while taking a shower. If you're using some cheap shampoo and conditioner that's full of chemicals, while you're in that hot, steamy shower, your pores are all open, your body's going to absorb that into your body. And so doTerra, I don't think they're looking at just selling us more stuff. I think they're looking at it, again, as the whole holistic picture on how to take care of our bodies. Anyways, we're going to do a thing about that another day. But I hope this was helpful. Oh, you have a question?
Not a question. I'm just wondering if there's a way, like I have a testimonial and it would take way too long to say it, especially right now. But I'm wondering if we should either post within the group something in writing or short videos. Like my situation, I've had the most stressful year of my life. And I haven't taken a Tylenol or an Advil or anything like that. It's been all like Long Life Vitality, oils, doTerra supplements. And I think that's made a big difference.
I would love it if you did a live or recorded and posted it in the Live Oils page or the Grow Oils page, either one. And if you want to even put it below this, when I post this tonight, you could put it below it. I would love to hear people's testimonials about it. I think that just helps everybody learn and grow.
Exactly. I think that would help everybody. Like there's things that I do and I don't remember why, like taking a PB Assist and a Terrazyme at bedtime. But it helps. But I remember somebody saying that's what they did, or it helped to sleep. And, I do that a lot of evenings before I go to bed.
Yeah.
So things like that, I don't remember the reason behind it, but I know it works.
Well, I want everybody to know that we're a community and that we're all here to help encourage and enlighten and educate each other. So please, everybody, feel free, if you have an experience, share it on the Live page so everybody can benefit from that. So I can benefit from it. I'd prefer if you guys wanted to do something short, just you comment it in the comments below this. But if you want to do like a live and post it, please do that. That's so beneficial to everybody in the group. I think people really, some people are just healthy and they don't have issues. And so they have a harder time expressing to people why they need certain things. You know what I mean? I don't have depression, but I know people that do. And so I have a testimonial of the vitamins of depression, even though I haven't experienced it, because I have somebody else's experience. And so every experience will just benefit everybody.
Something that you guys need to realize is the Live Oils page for our users is for you guys to post on also. I love when you guys post and and comment and add your own flavor to it. It's not my page, it's not M's page, it's our page, our group, to all share our experiences and create that culture of sharing and being there for each other. Yeah. So I would love it when you guys share your experiences. So yes, please feel free. Yep.
Any other questions? No? Okay, thanks everybody. We'll post this and share it with your teams. There's a video out there, I forget where it is, that I did a more in-depth explanation of each of the Lifelong Vitality Pack. So
we'll see if we can find it and tag it to the top again.
Yeah, we could add it there. It's just it's a shorter video that you can share it to your people about why the vitamins versus this longer one if you'd like as well. Okay?
Thanks everyone. Have a good night.
Thanks everyone. Have a good night. Bye.
Bye.